Hello and welcome back to D6 Tabletop. We're down at Atlas Tabletop Gaming in the docks today, taking part in a 3,000 point team tournament, Xenos versus Imperial. I'm the captain of the mighty Xenos team, facing off against those filthy Imperials. So let's have a look inside at all the armies and then get on with the tournament. I should mention this is a themey tournament, so it's not serious and competitive, but more leaning towards fun theme lists. There's points for fun armies and stuff like that. So it's a little bit different, but it's going to be some giant games. So let's have a look at what everyone's brought. Atlas Tabletop Gaming is based in the Gloucester Quays, right in the heart of Gloucestershire, on the waterfront. It's a lovely little venue, very picturesque, with good parking nearby. I think it cost me a couple of quid for the day on Sunday. It stocks a full range of painting and hobby supplies, as well as Games Workshop, Mantic, Warlord Games, Star Wars, there's loads there, and is one of my local venues. It's a really nice place to visit if you're in the Gloucester area. They've also got a little cafe there with snacks, drinks, chocolate, cakes, all that kind of stuff to help you keep going with your gaming. They also run card games, Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, stuff like that throughout the week, as well as gaming tables, so you can enjoy any aspect of your hobby, whichever one you partake in. On the Xenos team, we have Necrons, Orcs, Tau, Tyranids, Votann, and Drukhari, against the filthy Imperials, being the Grey Knights, the Admech, the Imperial Knights, the Custodes, the Space Marines, and the Sisters of Battle. Only one army could be brought per player, meaning that you couldn't have a Black Templars army and a Ultramarines army. You could only have one army of Space Marines. This was to ensure that each table had a different army on, and to bring a general bit of flavour to the table. Players were scored extra points for bringing fun armies, and points were scored for best play of the game, best game of the day, and all that kind of stuff as well, as it was a more friendly atmosphere tournament. I'll be honest, we keep calling it a tournament. Basically, 10 of the locals who play on a regular on a Tuesday night at a gaming club getting together and having some very large games throughout the day. Only 2 games were being played, with myself and Dale being the captains of the teams. I'm captaining the Xenos, Dale is captaining the Imperials. At the start of each round, the two of us would pick a player and a table and try and get a match off for each army, in a hoping that we would get one favourable for our team. This left me playing the Adeptus Mechanicus with my Necrons, and let's have a little look at the army that I've brought. And this is 3,000 points of Necrons, which is not almost everything that I own, it's a fair amount of chunk. I'm running a Canoptic Court detachment, and I have brought a Tomb Sentinel, 2 blobs of warriors, a blob of Scorpex, led by a Scorpec Lord, the Transcendent Satan, 2 blobs of 6 Wraiths paired with Technomancers, a Reanimator, 2 Canoptic Doomstalkers, the Stormlord, and a Hexmark Destroyer, some Canoptic Scarabs, and a Ceratech Heavy Construct. This thing's massive, it's 540 points, it's a waste of points, but it looks cool, and it means I haven't got to move around so many models on the table, because I'd like to get more game in than just the movement phase. Throughout the day as well, during each game, the captains had 3 strats that they could use to influence the games as they go along. Each strat was only one use, so you had to pick the moment to use it. The first stratagem was bring a unit back. You could select any player's unit that was below 250 points that had been destroyed to come back in their reinforcement step of their next turn. The second strat was called Strafing Run, and immediately when used, you could then point at each unit on the opposing side, and on a 2 to a 4, they would take 1 mortal wound, and on a 5 to a 6, they would take 2 mortal wounds. A roll of 1 did nothing, and Feel No Pains could still be used as normal. And finally, the third stratagem, Their Finest Hour, allowed you to give a character a +2 to its advance and charge, a 5-up Feel No Pain, and an extra strength in combat. As I said, these are going to be used once per game, so the players would have to remember that these exist and have to ask the captains if they could use it when they needed it. So with all that sorted, let's get on to Game 1. Game 1, I'm playing the Adeptus Mechanicus, another army that I collect. In fact, I'm playing against a few of my own models, as I've lent quite a bit of my stuff out to make up the numbers on the tables. Okay, Necrons are deployed, ready to go. Against Admech, turn 1. Now, he's got a lot of guns. They're all anti-vehicle, which means that most of my army is going to be okay, because it's either Beast, infantry, or monster, with a few things having the vehicle keyword, such as the Ceratech and a few bits and pieces. I feel really bad for Admech because they're such cool models, but they just don't seem to have much going for them. I managed to get up the board, get my OC on the objectives, and basically weather the storm as it kept coming. Now, although Wraiths don't have a lot of output in damage-wise against anything that's not chaff or infantry, they are incredibly durable, and with reanimations, if you don't wipe the squad, they will just keep coming back. Which unfortunately the Admech were unable to do. And as I'm in the middle of doing this, I get a shout from the table at the end of the hall asking for a stratagem. Jamie, the Votann player, had just lost his Hecaton land fortress to the Space Marines, destroying it using their dreadnoughts and their gladiator lancers. Because a Hecaton land fortress is below 250 points, I said, of course you can have it back, and he brought it back at the start of his reinforcement steps of his next turn. Going back to the game, I managed to get good board control. I'm holding on to the points at this point.
We need to pass 3. I want to get another dog.
Another dog.
I need another dog. No pressure. No pressure. Oh, please do. Just because.
And it really was a case of me holding on till the end of the game, with the final score being 100 to the Necrons, 28 to the Admech. Good game against JD. He's always a good laugh to play against. It's just a shame that Admech feel a little bit lackluster on the table, which is the main reason why mine have been relegated into their box, to wait until some form of update that makes them viable against all of the threats that are now against them they haven't got an answer for. Now, as you can see, it's a very technical scoring system using a whiteboard. Basically, if you win, you get 15 points, 8 points for a draw, 0 points for a loss. Bonus points are scored for scoring more than 60 points during the game, for killing the enemy warlord, and for killing their second in command. So that's game 1 done. We're now trailing behind by in the points by about 13 points, so not bad. I won my game, which was quite nice against the Admech. It's just a shame with Admech because they got such cool models, but none of their rules really feel like they work very well. So we'll see how the pairings work out now for game 2. First is lunch, and we'll get back on and see if the Xenos can make the comeback and win the day, or whether we're taking home dog poo trophies. Game 2 then, after lunch, it was decided unanimously by all of our players that the two captains should fight each other. So I'm fighting Grey Knights with Necrons. They've got a lot of up and down shenanigans. I've not got many shenanigans, so this could go well. Dell's brought 2 Land Raiders, a load of baby carriers, some of them apparently are Grandmasters as opposed to regular dudes, and a lot of Terminators. This was one of the closest games I have had in a long time. The ability for Grey Knights to just leave the table and appear somewhere else next turn is really hard to play against and to avoid or to stop from happening. Because as soon as you move within 9 of them, they can disappear. Or they can pay a CP to come back, and other CPs to come back within 3. It's a really nice list. It's a really nice, powerful thing to have, and it's very themey for that army, I feel. It's just very hard to play against. Luckily, having so many units means I can screen out quite well, and having durable units means that even when they do land and they do charge into me, I usually get to last at least 1, if not 2 turns before my unit gets wiped. However, MVPs for this game were the Scorpex, because they went round killing Terminators like they were butter, and it was brilliant, because usually Scorpex are rubbish. I still don't think they're a very good unit on paper. They just look so cool, and I love the theme of them and the story behind them that I always bring them to the table just for the fun of it. Zatan being able to jump up and come down in the same manner as what the Grey Knights do was helping me score points. It wasn't doing much more else on the table in terms of killing things, but it was allowing me to score secondaries by jumping around the table and scoring me those points. The Wraiths were durable enough. Unfortunately, if you throw enough baby carriers at them, you're going to get them killed. And the unit in the bottom left only lasted about 2 or 3 turns before they got wiped out by the baby carriers. The Doomstalkers doing work. At strength 14, AP 3 and 3 damage, they are putting wounds on whatever they can see. As a blast gun, they're pretty good at taking out Terminators, but their main thing for this game was to focus on taking out those baby carrier dreadnoughts I ignored the Land Raiders mainly. There's not a lot they can do. They got a couple of last cannons. I don't really mind them going into warriors and single units. It doesn't matter. But I had to stop those dreadnoughts coming round and killing all my units. Biggest letdown being the Tomb Sentinel. I don't really know what he does. I played 2 games with him. He's funny because he's a Tomb Sentinel and he gets the rerolls in Canoptic Court. But other than that, I don't really think he brings much to the table. With this game ending, 84 points to the Necrons, 81 points to the Grey Knights. Really close game, and it all came down to the last draw of the secondaries, allowing me to score the extra points to steal me the game. I end the day on 2 wins and a combined points of 184. Oddly enough, no one votes Necrons for best fun army. I've no idea why, but 2 really good games, 2 great opponents, and unfortunately, end of the day, when all the scores were totted up, the Xenos team lost by 40 points, meaning that we took home the dog poo trophies. Probably the best wooden spoon I've ever won, one of the funniest looking ones anyway, and I can't wait to get back and do it all again the next time we do a 3K game. So if you enjoyed this kind of content, please like the video, comment below, and subscribe to the channel. And we'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching. Take care. Goodbye.